to the Tool Station Northern Counties East League podcast. I'm Richard Watts. I'm joined by League General Manager Matt Jones, who's going to give us an update from the league.
Right. Hello again, everyone. Quick look back at the weekend's games. The first thing I'd like to say, what a fantastic effort it was from everybody again with the torrential wet weather we've had all week. To only have 2 games called off out of 20 scheduled matches was fantastic. From a fixture secretary's point of view, it made my day because I was expecting to be sat all day today rearranging games again, and I've only got the 2 to do. So fantastic effort from the ground staff and the volunteers and everybody to get all those games on bar 2 is fantastic. Thank you to everybody involved. Looked at some standout results, the ones that stood out for me at the weekend. Division 1, so we'll start with that one. Retford United putting 5 goals past Horbury, 2 very, very good sides. I thought they'd be evenly matched, and Retford absolutely walloped them, so well done to them. And Harrogate Railway Athletic going to Wakefield AFC, who've had a fantastic home record. They won 11-0 last time. I went to watch them at home, and Harrogate won 2-1. Wakefield, difficult place to go. Fantastic result for Harrogate. In the Premier Division, Tadcaster Albion won 1-0 at Golker United. Again, a really difficult place to go and pick up 3 points. And by all accounts, it was a bit of a season like the Alamo at times, backs to the wall job, but dogged defending it, and Tadcaster came away with 3 valuable points. I've picked out Bottisford Town, 3-0 down at Handsworth, came back to draw 3-3 in what can only be described as a thriller. Game of 2 halves by all accounts. And the final game I've picked out from the weekend was Pickering, 2-1 winners against Silsden. Again, a very difficult side to beat, Silsden. Pickering, by their own admission, not been having the best of seasons, but they won this one with 2 goals for their new signing, Omar Sanyong, on his debut, only signed on Friday. So fantastic result for them.
I've then asked Matt to talk about his background and what his role at the NCEL involves.
And a little bit about my job, as what I do for the league. I began working for the league in 2017, having spent nearly best part of 10 years doing work for clubs first as club secretaries, Cleethorpes Loughtown, did a little stint at Brigtown that didn't last too long, but began league secretary's job in 2017, and this was a part-time position really. I used to be out delivering parcels in all weathers for what was Hermes, now Every, 6 days a week, my little van trundling around, doing that in the mornings, getting done about dinner time, early afternoon, then coming home and doing my football work. And the football was going on then some nights, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I'd still be sat in front of my computer. So when the league asked me in 2022, would you be interested in doing this full time as general manager, snapped the hands off, absolutely delighted, because it meant I could get rid of the parcel job. And parcels is nice in the summer, but in the winter when it's cold and wet and you've got rain dripping down your back, it's not the best job in the world. So the league approached me in 2022 about going full-time as general manager, which I've been doing since September 2022, so about 15, 16 months now. The main part of my job, there's an unbelievable amount of admin that goes into running a league, work that goes on behind the scenes, computers, linking different FA systems together, making sure all the information on there is correct, everything's going through properly. So a lot of what I do now is working from home, sat in front of the computer. Suits me nicely. Monday to Friday, I sit here tapping away. I see myself really as a bit of a communication link between the FA and the clubs. If anything comes from the FA at Wembley, we circulate it to all the clubs, and vice versa. If clubs are having problems with issues with the FA regarding discipline or anything really that they need help with, I help the clubs and go the other way and talk to the FA for them. As a league-based person, I monitor the discipline, rule breaches, produce charge sheets, things like that. When clubs break the rules, we're governed by the FA standardised rules, and I do that. And in tandem with that, we then produce the charge sheets for the clubs. We appoint a panel to hear the charges, and I take notes at all these disciplinary meetings. I organise all the stuff, the board and the committee meetings. The management committee of the league meets once a month. The board meets as and when. So I draw up agendas, take the minutes of those meetings, circulate those. And I'm also events manager now since Brian Goole left us at the end of last year. So I plan the AGM, the dinner and the dance at Harrogate, the League Cup final at Doncaster. All these kind of things come under my remit. I would help other league officers with their roles. So if the registration secretary is having an issue that he can't an IT issue or there's a problem with the registration, I would deal with those. I help the referee and assistant referee appointment officers if they need any help. Match day inspectors come to me. Generally, anybody from the league would come to me for advice. And I also, now that I'm full time, it allows these people to have holidays during the season because I take on their roles as well. So if the registrar goes away, I do his job while he's away. The assistant referee appointment officer went away to South Africa for 6 weeks at the start of this season, so I did his job for him. And it just allows these people a bit more flexibility. The bane of my life is fixtures. I've been doing fixtures now for about 4 seasons. It's a job that I think I got because nobody else likes doing. I plan out all 800 odd fixtures at the start of the season. We have to upload those onto the FA system, send those out to clubs, and then every time a game is postponed, I have to rearrange the dates for the fixtures and decide where it's going to go, and then update all the systems accordingly again. It can be quite a time-consuming job, fixtures, and it's one of them jobs you can never win at because every time a game's off and you put it somewhere, it upsets somebody else. You very quickly learn to develop broad shoulders when you're doing fixtures. The best part of my job is midweek match days, Saturdays, where I can just look at the fixtures, pick a ground to go to and go and watch a game of football. And I try and visit all the clubs once a year if I can at home. And then I try again to see all the clubs at least once away. So ideally see everybody at least twice a season. I managed to do it last year with 40 teams, which was the first time due to COVID and all the other logistical nightmare it can be covering such a big area. Last year was the first time I managed to visit all 40 clubs in one season. They always told me I couldn't do it, and last year I was so pleased to prove them wrong. But it is a nightmare at times trying to get around because you end up making plans to go somewhere on a Saturday. Then somebody wants some footballs delivering, so I have to change my plans. And you get to the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, you've got half a dozen clubs still, and they're all playing at home on the same day. And all of a sudden you can't do it. So last year, I'm pleased to say I managed to do it. The best bit I think of it about watching the games is that I get to go around. I can't stand still because I'm getting old and my back stiffens up. So I tend to walk around the ground doing loops of the ground, and just the chance to speak to people and fans ask me questions and people talk to me about the game. Did you see that goal? What happened? And it's just nice to go and have a chat to people about football, and that's the bit I really enjoy. On the flip side, that the worst bit I found, the most difficult bit, when I first took the job on, I've always been connected to clubs, and you could cheer when a team scored, and you're behind one of the two teams were yours. Now suddenly in 2017, I'm going to games and they're both my teams, and I've got to be strictly neutral and just politely clap when teams score. And I found that really weird at first, quite difficult, but now I've got used to it. It's actually a lot less stressful watching a game like that than it is watching a team of your own. And as a Sheffield Wednesday fan, I'm used to going home games and Championship and League One level and things like that and getting really stressed. But now I can just go and sit there and enjoy the game, watch some great football, and it doesn't matter to me who wins because they're both my team. That's I've got used to that now.
Just do you know how many miles you spent going around when you did your 40 games? Do you know how many miles you covered?
Average, Richard, around about, because I also go out during the week delivering footballs, but football mileage, and occasionally I have to go down to St George's Park to FA meetings. Go all over the place. But last year, in the first full year I managed to all the grounds, I did about 25,000 miles just for football. So wow. It racks the miles up on the car.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with an FA, is there one person you deal with, or are you dealing with lots of different departments at the FA?
There's lots of different departments of the FA, and sometimes things come from the National FA, which is based down at Wembley. But again, loads and loads of departments down there. But also our clubs deal with 7 different county FAs at the level we play at. So clubs in particular might be having an issue with their particular county FA, and we have contacts at all 7, and we deal with all 7 FAs as part of the job I do.
What goes on at St George's Park?
They have meetings. It's obviously the home of the English football team, the English Lionesses. Everybody plays down there. Fantastic facility, but there's also a Hilton hotel. So when the FA plan meetings, and 2 or 3 times a year, we'll have 5 and 6 league meetings. Other things I've been to, there's been meetings about the FA Clubs programme, the FA Leagues programme, various different ideas the FA are having. They tend to host the meetings down at St George's Park near Burton-on-Trent. A, because it's central, and B, because it's got the hotel facility next door. So every time there's one of these meetings planned, we go and stay down at St George's Park.
If you have a question for Matt Jones, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com and we'll try and include that question in a future edition. I'm at Barton Town and we're here to the Barton against Frickley game, and I'm going to be speaking to two Frickley supporters, by far the youngest people that we've had on the podcast so far. So who am I going to be speaking to?
Ella Carr, aged 10, Josh Carr, aged 8.
Very good. And tell me what you like about, what it is about Frickley. Tell me who the best players are and who your favourite players are.
So the best player is probably Al, and my favourite player is Al.
What about you?
Al, but he's got a suspension, but my favourite player's got to be Zach Kersey.
Very good. And what is it about, what do you think your friends think about you supporting Frickley? Do they support league clubs and things like that?
Yeah.
What do they think about you supporting Frickley?
They've never heard of it.
Never heard of it. What about you, Ella?
My friends don't even like football, but they get fed up of me talking about Frickley a bit too much too, so...
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. You're supporting a non-league team. Are they all supporting like Manchester City and Man United, teams like that? Yeah. So what was the first Frickley game that you went to?
Goole versus Frickley.
Did Frickley win it? No? What's been your best Frickley game so far that you've seen?
Probably Frickley at home when we won 3-0.
Yeah, very good. And do you go to all games home and away?
We like to, but we can't always make it on the away night games.
Yeah, it's late, isn't it? Yeah. And you both got your Frickley replica shirts on.
Yeah.
You prefer that or the away shirt best?
This one.
That one. Yeah. So tonight we've got League Cup tie. This will be broadcast after the game, so we'll see how good you are at predicting. What's the score going to be tonight?
2-1 to Barton, probably. 1-0 Barton.
Oh gosh, I thought you'd be going for Frickley. They played well here last time. I like your goalkeeper. He's a terrific goalkeeper, and your striker, great players. Right, that's great. Anything else you'd like to tell me about Frickley?
Not really, no. No, that's it.
What's the best thing about watching them?
That they probably know me and they say hello to me and I like it.
Oh, that's good. You'd never get that in a professional game, would you? You'd never get a player coming up and speaking to you. That's great, that. Well, thanks for talking to me, and we'll maybe have you on later on in the season.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Volunteers are essential to all clubs at this level, and on the podcast we hope to feature a number of volunteers in future episodes. If you're a volunteer who would like to come onto the podcast and talk about what you do in your club, then email NCEL Podcast@gmail.com. I'm now joined by Goole volunteer Bob Haywood. Could you start by just going through what you do at Goole and how you got involved?
Well, I've been a lifelong supporter at Goole, a lifelong supporter, and I took a retirement about 7 years ago, and I started my first on the football. I started selling programs, and I continued with that, and then in the last 2 years, 20 months, I started getting more involved doing on the sponsorship side of the club, trying to raise sponsors and go and see businesses and try and get people involved with the club, you know.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed that. But on a match day, it's a team effort of the volunteers and myself. I not just sell on the day I sell the raffle tickets, the 50-50 cash prize draw. Graham, my colleague, he sells the programme. And then during the match, half time, I'll do the hospitality with another volunteer, Alan Tomlinson. That's for the officials, right, etc.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the match, we will choose a Goole AFC player of the match, and we'd give him an award, some beer or a bottle of wine. I'd take a picture, send it to the Goole Times, and to give us a bit more publicity, Just and plus the fact when we have a sponsor, because it's the sponsors that choose the Goole of the man of the match, and it gives them a bit more publicity, because I'm all about getting the word out for the sponsor. Because if a sponsor's sponsoring us, he needs to get the word out that they are behind the club and get the business promoted.
Yes, yeah. And how did you go about getting sponsors? What sort of things do you have covered by sponsors?
Well, we have quite a few things covered by sponsors. We have what we call a corporate sponsor, and that will be where they get an afternoon match in the hospitality box, and they get 2 season tickets, and we do an advertising banner to put up around the ground. It's a question of, well, since I started doing this, we had some sponsors for the club, but during my time, I've got some new sponsors in, and it's not a question of, when you go see a sponsor, it's not a question I just got to go in there for once a year or twice a year. I'll keep dropping in throughout the season, throughout the year, just to tell them how the team's doing, or take them a programme, and some of them have become good friends, Like we have Morgan and Quinn, the local carpenter. He was new to Carl. Carl Quinn is a new sponsor. We've got Keith Pettis, the local garage. He's them two. Keith Pettis on our shirt sleeve sponsors. They were new to the club, and Morgan and Quinn on the back of the shirt. They were new to the club last season. And then we've got C&J at the front, C&J Stonemasonry. Craig and John and Russell. They've been very good sponsors for the club. They've been with us about 6-7 years, and then we've got J.W. Myers, another new one, Debbie at J.W. Myers. She does our tracksuit sponsors with their name on, and it's just good that they go around. Like, you get a lot of rejects when you're trying to go see a local business. It's you are better with a local business. I've found if I go to a big business, they'll say, we'll contact our head office, or I'll do this, do that. If you go to a local business, you see the person in charge who's making the decisions, and you get to know them. I've got to know all these guys. I mean, at Mia Roofing, David at Mia Roofing, he's a new corporate sponsor this year. We had a New Year raffle run by the supporters club, and one of the guys in there, he sold £120 worth of tickets. Because I've been in to see him throughout the season, and he sold some tickets for you, and that's a good thing for a sponsor to do, and things like that. It's that's brilliant. So it's building a relationship up with your sponsors, and that's what I try to do, and that's how I go on. But I say going on our match day, the volunteers, what volunteers do, because we have Darren Walker. He's our match day secretary, but he does loads of things. He washes the kit, does Darren, along with Alan, our chairman. And if you've got 3 games a week, then that's a lot of washing of the kit,
Yes.
And his son Connor is the secretary. He does a lot of volunteering as well, especially with the registrations for the players, because of that there's a new tool this year. It got off to a rocky start with trying to put players on, and he solved that, with his dad. Because Darren, it's his son Connor is the secretary. And then we have Dave Aldridge, our website program editor. He runs the club shop, and he puts the program together, which is fantastic. And he does a great job for me when he puts the program together, because we have another feature if you sponsor a club. If you're part of the corporates, you get a half-page advertisement in our program, and which has gone down well with sponsors. And he created a commercial corner from this year, for this program this season, where we've got this of all the sponsors we have, and when they come to sponsor a match or a match ball, we'll give a little mention of it in the program, as well, and we'll put it on the website as well, on Goole website, just to just to give it a bit more PR, because I'm all about getting the word out. If somebody's spending their hard-earned cash with a football club, they want to see a return on that, and I like to get the word out to as much as I can with everybody,
Yeah.
Just to finish up, because you asked me what I do on a day. At the end of the day, myself, I'll clean up we have a porta cabin where all the officials come in for a cup of tea and a sandwich. I would clean up on that. After that, and maneuver it up, and Darren and Connor would clean the dressing rooms, because afterwards there's all that to be done. And if we have someone in the hospitality box, because Alan, our chairman, he'll prepare the food for the porta cabin for the officials. Him and his wife cook a curry for the players after the game to be served. And then if we've got someone in the hospitality box, again, him and his wife are cooking for that as well, putting sandwiches out buffet. So when they come, if they're a corporate sponsor, they get the day in the box. They'll get a buffet and drinks in the fridge, So we just like to give them a good time if we can, in the great hope that they'll sponsor us next season as well, and that's how we go on.
That's the essence of non-league, isn't it? And there's no way in the professional game a chairman would be cooking food or anything like that, would they?
No, non-league volunteers is the lifeblood of any non-league club, not just Goole. I mean, without non-league volunteers, there wouldn't be a club, because you can't afford to pay people.
No.
And at this level, so when I go around, I go to all these away grounds, and you see what all the other volunteers are doing. It's pretty marvellous, really, and all the commitment they do, and it's really good. Well, it's like a non-league family, really.
Yeah.
As I see it, yeah. So and also, if I forget, we have also on our gate we have Tim Harness. He used to be the secretary and treasurer back when it was the old Goole town back in the day. And Tim and his grandson Ben are on the gate,
Right.
So it is a team effort. And then we have stewards, Danny and Pete Tomlinson. It's an effort with the volunteers, but it's like any club, though. It's trying to bring volunteers on board, because it's. And I find that when I go around talking to other volunteers and chairmen at other clubs, a volunteer is worth a lot, to any non-league club.
I also get the impression it seems quite hard to get volunteers of a younger age as well.
Yeah, we're all getting on. Yeah, we're all getting on a bit, except Connor's only in his 20s, so when he listens to this, I apologise, Connor, you're not getting on that. But Alan's our chairman. He's in his 70s. Right. I'm 70, and all other guys are all getting on a bit. And Tim's up 70 plus. So yeah, but I hear that with Selby Town. I saw it on the North County East Forum earlier in this season, and I think somebody was saying there that all the volunteers are all getting on a bit, And you find that, don't you? It's the commitment, I suppose. But it's a reward, But it's not easy. No, it's not easy. But that's how we go on, anyhow. That's how we go on. But I just wanted to come on here because I think because you're doing this podcast, it's getting the word out there is a North Counties East League, and all and what everybody does to keep a club on the park, on the field,
And I think the other thing as well about the league is that I don't think people realise what a good standard it is.
Oh yeah, it is. It certainly is. It's and she plays at this level, and not playing for the money. They're playing for the love of the game. They act like the Premiership,
Yeah.
And they're playing because they've all got day jobs, And when you've got a night match, and some of the guys could be a bit of a travel. If you go, we had Goole car last season. Well, that's one of our furthest journeys,
Yeah.
And so the effort for the guys to get, when they've been working all day, to play football and travel and play like that, it's commitment by players at this level,
Yeah, that's right. And moving on to Goole on the field, you obviously won't be in a position where you hope to be. What are your thoughts for the rest of the season?
Well, Well, we hope for the best, but it's going to be tough because we are bottom. We've got 16 games left, 16 vital games, but we've only got 5 of them at home and 11 away. And we have still got to play Emily home and away. Well, Emily's well, top of the league. I mean, they give some teams quite a battering, but we live in hope. And because our game was cancelled Friday night, it was at Barton. The pitch was waterlogged, so that's got to be rearranged. We're at Tadcaster next week, so I hope that's on, because I saw with all the floods, I saw the Tadcaster pitch was flooded again, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
So they need volunteers there to help to clean up, because that would be, it must be horrible for your ground to get flooded. I don't know if the clubhouse got flooded or whatever, but they're right next to the river is Tadcaster, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And
So we just hope, but for long-suffering supporters, I mean the crowds at Goole, to say we're bottom of the league, we've had. I looked at this before I came on. We've had 14 matches this year. 3,602 people have attended, which is an average of 257. Well, that's pretty good for the supporters to keep supporting them in the way they do.
It certainly is. Yeah.
But, yeah, especially when you are propping up the league.
Yeah.
Sort of thing,
What potential is there for support? Sort of like in the old days when it was Goole Town. What sort of support level did you used to get?
Well, Goole Town, when we was in Goole Town, see, you didn't have all the social media, you didn't have all the streaming, you didn't have all the Saturday football. I mean, Goole, back in the day, we had crowds of, we could have crowd 1,000 plus,
Wow.
And I thought the highlight of Goole Football Club in itself would be for me, from what I've been watching, was the 74, 75, 76 seasons. And that season we had Alan Turner was the manager. And we got to the second round of the FA Cup.
Wow.
We beat Barrett away in the first round, got to the second round. Now, like today, if that would have been today, that would have been on the television, because we were playing Wrexham. And Wrexham was top of the 3rd division at that time. And that's why they were the highest, strongest team in the second round at that particular time. And Wrexham, they had some Welsh internationals in the team. And we went there, and Jimmy Kelly was a bit of an idol for Goole Town at that time. The older generation supporters will remember that. Came on the substitute, and he scored with about 10 minutes to go. And it made it 10 to 1-1, We brought him back for a replay at Goole. And as I say, that would have been on the television, I would imagine, if it had been today. And we lost 1-0. But their keeper, he was their man of the match, so that tells you a lot, really. And in that team, in the Goole Town team there, that day, was Trevor Whiteley, and his grandson now has been in the squad for the present day Goole AFC. So it's come full circle.
Yeah, wow.
But also, just to quickly say this, that in that Goole Town team, there was a chap called Tony Galvin. Well, Tony Galvin was spotted by Tottenham Hotspur. And Tony went on to play for, and he signed for Tottenham from Goole. I think the transfer fee in about 76, 77 was about, I was led to believe about £10,000. But he went to play on about 200 games for Tottenham and for the Republic of Ireland.
Oh, was he a winger?
Yeah, he was a winger, and he was a student. He was a student, and he was learning Russian at the Hull University at the time. And Alan got him to come and play for Goole. I mean, but you could see the potential. I mean, he played on the left wing, and he could cut inside, and he was marvellous, really. And you could see that when he played for Tottenham, they played him in that position. He played in that FA Cup final when Ricky Villares scored that wonderful goal against Man City.
Yeah, right.
Back in the early 80s, and he played with Ozzy Ardilis and Steve Perryman, And so he went on to have a great career, and all stem from Goole. So you never know, even in non-league football today, players, if they're spotted by some clubs, where's the oyster, you never know how far somebody can go. A 17, 18-year-old player, because I think because Tony was about 19 when he was playing for us, and I think Bill Nicholson came down to watch the Wrexham game, and that's when he spotted him, as I understand, you know.
And what league would you have been in back in those days?
Oh, we was in the Northern Premier League, which would be equivalent to really the National League North today, what Scunthorpe playing, you know.
Yeah.
We were playing teams like Scarborough, Macclesfield, Wigan Athletic, and them sort of teams, you know, Alfreton. So that was, but as I say, there was a bigger fan base then, and it was getting 1,000 plus gates, you know. I mean, for the Wrexham game, we got 4,300, I think it was.
Wow.
On that particular night. So I'm glad I wasn't on the gate that day.
Yeah. Take some cashing up afterwards as well.
Oh, yeah, it certainly would. Yeah, it certainly would. But yeah, so that's when Goole was a bit of a history of Goole when in the heyday, you know. And but we were the clubs. But there's going to be a lot of big change in the club in the next 2 years, though, because I don't know if you heard about the renovations at the club.
No.
The Goole itself has got a government grant they call the Goole Town deal, and the club's got awarded £2.5 million for VPG renovations at the ground, starting in. Well, it was going to be March this year, end of March, but I understand it's going to be June now at the earliest. And that's they're going to knock the main stand, because you've been to Goole, Richard, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
They're going to knock the main stand down, and they're going to build a new complex, really, I suppose, with hospitality, cafe interiors, new dressing rooms, the whole works. And then you have two smaller stands at the other side, on the Dunhill Road side, and the dugouts are going to be positioned there. But it's like, but a lot of people are not happy with it, because at the moment we have the athletics track going round the ground. Well, that's going to go the 400-metre track, and and they're going to put a 200-metre track in at the far end, at the what we call the railway side end. And I can understand the athletics people are not happy for that, because they're losing their 400-metre track where they come and train on a Tuesday night. But and then they're going to put a 100-metre running track on there, on behind the two other stands at the Dunhill Road side. So a lot of people are for it. Some people are not, because they're going to put a 4G pitch down as well. So it's not going to be a grass pitch. So it'll be available throughout the week, you know.
Yeah.
So there's also a lot going off on that. So come June 2025, it'll look a lot different, you know. But there's a lot of more questions than answers, really, of where we're going to be playing next season. We'd hope to play at the pleasure grounds.
Right.
Chairman Allen's hoping to do that, but there's a lot of things to consider before we get that far. You know?
A bit of short-term pain, but it'd definitely be long-term gain with stuff like that going on.
Right. For the future, especially for the younger generation of the town, it's going to be it should be really good. But as I say, there's a lot of people. It doesn't suit everybody. I think the grass. I think a lot of people are supporters. I might be wrong, but I think a lot of them would like to see football played on grass. But when you've got weather like this at the moment, you see things like Hampton and Bottisford, they'll continue playing where there's a lot of games off, you know. And it's all about revenue. I mean, if you can't play at home for 6 weeks, then the revenue it hits the club quite badly, you know, because you're paying players going out, but no money coming in, you know.
And it opens up other revenue streams as well, doesn't it? Hiring your pitch out and things like that, because you can use it all the time.
That's right. But I understand it's going to be run by a non-profit organisation. I don't know how it's all going to work yet. But watch this space. I suppose we'll know more as time goes on.
Yeah.
You know.
Exciting times.
Yeah. So it will look completely different, but we'll see how it all pans out in the end. You know.
Yeah.
I also could mention at Goole we also have under 21s and under 18s team as well. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Do you get many who move up right through the ranks?
Yeah. We've had some like Harrison Whiteley, who's come from the under 18s, under 21s. He has played for Goole this year as well. I think it's Charlie Nicholson. I think he's played. So they get a chance. At the end of the day, if they're good enough, I'm sure they'll come through. But it's exciting now for not for the future for these playing for Goole now, because we've never had anything like this for a long while. And it's them players coming through. For future seasons. So it might look a bit gloomy at the moment with where we are in the league and the ground, but hopefully shoots of recovery might come in future seasons.
Yeah, it sounds. One question that I always ask volunteers who come on: if somebody's thinking about volunteering, what would you say to them?
Well, come and join us, and I think you would enjoy it. But if you want to come and volunteer, come and see myself or Alan, the chairman, and because there's always a job. There's always plenty of jobs to do. Because I have to say, but at the end of the match, when it's the final whistle's gone and we've cleared up and everything and all that, you're pretty tired by the end, So what it say? More hands make light work.
Next up, NCEL Talk. I'll hand straight over to host Aaron Walton.
Right, evening everybody. I'm joined by Si of Wakefield and somebody new, Bob Haywood of Goole. Welcome, gentlemen, and let's get straight down to business. And I'm going to start this week by going straight to Division 1 for a change, because it's all changed. Parkgate taking advantage of Wakefield's slip-up. Parkgate putting Glasshoughton to the sword 4-0. Brandon Potts putting with a couple, and the exotically named Silas Volodymyr Collins and the goal machine Ross Duggan on the score. Did he?
Yes, he did. Yes,
Silas Volodymyr Collins. I'm sure he's had a few clubs. Shirebrook also took advantage on Wakefield by easing past the Zebras of Brigg 3-0. Both Watsons on the score sheet for Shirebrook, Nathan with one and Kieran with a couple. Now, let's get to Si, Wakefield. What went wrong, Si?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, just
sorry, my friend.
I've just healed the wounds and like they're open and with plenty of salt on again with that one. Yeah, I mean, look, just quick looking, not just those two, but everyone in the top six, apart from ourselves, actually picked up wins. So yeah, everyone took advantage, even the ones behind a little bit this week. But on the day, have to give full credit to Harrogate, and I said that they battled so well. Harrogate did not look like a mid-table team, which they were at the time. I know they've picked up a bit now with that one. But no, they're just really outfought us. Every loose ball, they were getting to first. Every time we got the ball, they had two men closing us down. They just really, really worked. And then they had a very good system. I won't give too much work because the last thing I want to do is the next team that we play. I'm trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Are they still a young team? Are they still a young team?
Harrogate.
Yeah.
Harrogate. Yeah. I was talking to a couple of their fans just after the game. They said, like, they're still bedding in. This young team after what happened at the end of last season for them, and I think that's probably why they've probably had the start to the season they've had. But if they keep playing like that, maybe playoffs is a bit too long.
Yeah.
This season for them from where they are, but if they can put that team together and grow it. Next season, they could be well up there. But yeah, we've had a bit of a slump now. 4 points from the last 12, which is not really top of the table form. But maybe my thinking is maybe if we're not top now, it might take a bit of pressure off and we can just get back to enjoying some football and put some some results back on the board.
Yeah.
And eight of our next 9 games are away from home, including the one in the County Cup. So we're on a period now where we're going to be going to away games, and maybe that might help us a bit. You tend to find that teams come to our place, they raise the game quite a bit.
Yeah,
because it's a nice pitch, it's a nice stadium, what have you. So maybe now we can do that at theirs instead.
Definitely. And other teams have got to have the little wobbles as well. So I mean, Parkgate, Shirebrook, Retford, Beverley, they've all got to have little wobbles. Yeah, I think
they're going to drop some points somewhere along the way. It's going to happen. It's just that at the moment, they keep winning, and we just got to try and keep up with them at the moment now.
Yeah.
How's Ben Gelder doing at Wakefield? Because he played for Goole beginning of the season.
Started off very well. He's injured his shoulder recently. In the Selby game, went down after an aerial challenge, and we thought he dislocated it at first from looking at him, but I think he's just done some ligament damage, so he's going to be out for a few weeks now. But no, you can tell he's got kind of the work rate that we need up front to kind of press the back line of who we're playing against. And he's bagged a few goals. I read quite a few comments. You know, when he moved, I always have a look at like the club's Twitter and stuff of who's moving, and he got a lot of praise, and a lot of people said they're going to miss him. So no, I think he's a great asset to the team, definitely.
I think he'll go a long way. I think he'll progress eventually up to higher leagues. You know, he has that something about him.
Very good. So if we go on then, so if we look at obviously Retford United thumped the inconsistent Aubrey Town 5-1, and Beverley left it very, very late to beat a resilient Yorkshire Amateurs 3-0, didn't they? I mean, they scored 3 in the last 10 minutes, but that's Beverley. I mean, they'll keep trying. So that's all putting the pressure on. But I just want to go down near the bottom. I just want to, I see James Humphreys has got the manager's role at Ollerton Town. He's a great guy, and I wish him all the best because he was at Barton Town along with Craig Denton and Wayne Thompson a few seasons back. He's a nice guy, and I hope he does well, James. I know he's got a hell of a job with Ollerton, and he's like the Great Escape because they're down at the bottom, 25 games, 4 points. So hopefully,
it's a big rebuild, isn't it?
It's a massive rebuild, but James can do it. He's a nice guy. So, but that
just going on James. He's been at Goole the last 2 or 3 games, helping Nathan, our manager here.
Oh, has he? Yeah. Well, he knows Nathan, doesn't he? Because Nathan was at Hallam, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Sure it was. Yeah. So, and he's a real nice guy, is James. So, all the best. So, if because we're a little bit pushed for time, I want to go on to the Premier Division. And it still looks like a 2-horse race at the top between Campion and Emley. I don't know what you guys think. What do you reckon, Bob?
I think you're right. It's looking like Emley and Campion. I mean, a lot of teams thought Campion might fade when they lost Marcus Day, but they haven't, have they? They've carried on winning. You know.
Yeah. They made hard work of it at Maltby, didn't they? 2-1. Now I know Andy Dawson and Lee Whitehead have come back to the hot seat at Muglet Lane. So that's given Maltby a little bit of a spare, hasn't it? But they made hard work of it there. So they're still Campion's still.
They did us a favour, really, because we know Maltby, because they're at the bottom with us. We go, you know.
Yeah.
Them winning Campion, it kept us on the same number of points, you know. 14.
Yes. Yeah. Well, your game was unfortunately cancelled, wasn't it? Because you were playing us at Barton, and unfortunately the pitch was underwater, as per usual. As soon as it rains, we get flooded. But Emley had a real toughie at Knaresborough, didn't they? 1-1. Danny Edwards' strike put Town in front, and Ruben Jerome saved Emley's blushes with a late equaliser. But I think that's a good point at Mance Lane, because Knaresborough, I think they're having one of the best seasons they've had since they've come up.
Yeah, well, they started off like a hare, didn't they? The first dozen games, there was top at league, wasn't the first 12 games? Yeah,
and I was expecting him to sort of Knaresborough to drop off a bit, but they haven't. They've carried on. I mean, they've done really well. I mean, so far this season at Mance Lane, it's a difficult place to go. There's only Albion and Penistone who've won the Knaresborough at their patch in the league, so that's not bad, is it? Yeah, really good. Thackley again beat Eccleshill in the Battle of Bradford 1-0, keeping the pressure on the leading two. The Denny boys awaiting any slip up, so they're doing well, aren't they? Frickley, they're still there in third, 24 games, 43 points, 10 points behind Emily in second, but they're still there. They're doing what they can. It's an Albion drew and Penistone drew two apiece. Nathan Keatley scoring for the Church and a Robbie Fox penalty, and Aaron Batty chipping in with an equaliser for the Albion. So another two teams doing quite well there, Penistone and Albion. Who else we got? Garforth put Frickley to the sword 4-2. Charlie Marshall back on the scene. So yeah, Charlie Marshall back on the scene for Garforth, helping his dad out, scoring a hat-trick. So it was a super player is Charlie. And Silsden lost ground on the top teams by going 2-1 away at Pickering. Now Pickering seem to be picking up a bit now. I know they've got Omar Sanyang back, haven't they? He was dual registered with Ferriby, so he's back for Pickering.
We play them a week on Saturday at Pickering, so that'll be a big game for us, you know.
Definitely. And Handsworth were 3 up at half-time against Bottisford. Now, Bottisford are a spirited team, and they pulled 3 back in the second half. I mean, Mike Thompson's got those Botty boys buzzing, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, they've improved, Bottisford. Last 7 or 8 games, they've improved.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Bottisford, and I think Mike Thompson's got a good set of lads there, good team. Allen lost 4-2 away to a very good Rossington team. Paul Sherman getting a couple there for Rossington. So Rossington is still up there in 5th. I thought they might drop off a bit, but they certainly haven't. No. And Golka were being at home by the improving Tadcaster Albion.
We play on Saturday?
Are we playing Golka or Tadcaster?
Yeah, we play Tadcaster away.
Tadcaster away. That'll be a good game for Goole because you never know. You never know because Mick O'Connell's it's a building rebuild for him at Tadcaster. Yeah. So I want
to just quick Tadcaster. You know they had the floods back the other week.
Yes.
And the chairman was on BBC York saying he was calling for volunteers to come and help and dry the ground out, do all the cleaning, etc. So I think the match will be on by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
So because they're always level. A lot of rain. You get a lot of rain at Tadcaster.
Yeah. Well, it's the same at Barton. We get flooded all the time. Hence the name Marsh Lane. So we had a few League Cup games in the week. Barton went down to Frickley 1-0. I think the longer the game went on, you knew Frickley was going to get a goal because it was just one of them nights. Barton played okay, but couldn't get the ball in the net. Bottisford overcome Dronfield 2-1. Good win for Bottisford. Rossington beat Pickering 8-7 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. And Parkgate, the train keeps her rolling. They beat Woolwell 2-1. So that's a really good win there. And there's looking some good teams in that for the next round. I just want to quickly go on to crowds, if I could. Wakefield, 523. Another good crowd.
And credit to Carragher on that one. They brought a lot of fans as well.
Yeah.
You know, when it's all right, we are growing our fan base, but the games when we've got sort of the big gates, we need it to be the away teams bringing plenty of people as well. Yeah. And you know, it's a bit of a trek, is that from Harrogate? So I think they brought a good number of fans for that, and obviously they enjoyed the day out, didn't they?
They did. Well, credit to both teams because you get the biggest gate out of both leagues. So 523, well done, Wakey and Harrogate. 240 at Beverley again. Again, they're coming out and supporting the team. And 212 at Retford. I always like to think 200's your sort of blue ribbon there. Crowding the Prem, 385 at Garforth. Brilliant. That's 369 at Golka. I'll tell you what, they come out to watch Golka and they're so inconsistent. So I think the fans really do get behind Golka.
Yeah. Huddersfield were playing Sunday, wasn't it? So they might have got a few Huddersfield to play.
Yes, Bob. Yeah. You do your detective work there. Well done. Yeah. So and 320 at Thackley. Obviously, that was a local derby, but I know Eccleshill struggle for supporters, but that's good at Thackley. 320, so they're getting behind them at last. and 258 at Knaresborough and Rossington as well. So the crowds are getting up. What's your crowds like at Goole? I know you're having a bit of a nightmare, but
we have. Our average is, that's the frustrating thing at Goole. Our average is 253 still,
right
after 14 games, And if we could get some performances on, winning some matches at home, because we seem to play better away than we do at home, and that's not just this season. It's been over recent season, Do you
think that's because the good people of Goole put a bit of pressure on the players, or is it just they don't seem to play?
Yeah. Well, we sometimes. Well, you think the running track. You sort of go the running track's away from it.
And
that doesn't help. That doesn't help the atmosphere, and it's such a vast area. Is the Victoria Playground.
Yeah, and then if the ball goes out behind the goal, especially on the far side, it's about 10 minutes before it gets back in, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's such a long way away. We do have ball boys, but it's a long way to run for them,
Well, it is. I mean, but there's ball boys and marathon runners. they're poor lads. I mean, they get about 10 miles in when they've had a game. So I hope you feed them well on pop and crisps. But,
they do a great job.
They certainly do. If they're as well drilled as the ball boys at Hallam, they must be good because they're absolutely fantastic. So just a quick one, guys. A big good luck to Emily facing Charnock Richard on Saturday in the 4th round of the FA Vars. Also, Hallam, who plays Stilsden as well in the 4th round. So good luck, guys. Hope you do well. And of course, there's a lot of games played. Obviously, Goole have got Taddy, haven't they? Garforth and Thackley. That's a good one. Horbury and Staveley. Wakey away at Yorkshire Amateurs, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, looking around that division, the top 7 teams all play teams further down the table.
Yeah, so, Parkgate have got a tricky one at breaking.
Lower teams, but that means nothing. Everyone can still do it on the day.
Yeah, Shirebrook away to Athersley, Retford United away to Selby, and Beverley have a very tricky tie away to Armthorpe. If Armthorpe turn up, that'll be a good game. If they really, but yeah,
Brigg Parkgate's a good one for me. I think Brigg could give them a good game.
I think the higher up the teams, Brigg seem to play a little bit better. They seem to struggle against teams around them, but at the higher up, Brigg seem to play. And I mean, I say every week on paper, Brigg have got a really good team, but we don't play football on paper, do we? So, but yeah. But all in all, it's going to be hopefully a good weekend. The weather should be cold, but we'll get the games on. So I know Barton, we've got a tough one. We're playing Albion at the Easy Buy, so that'll be a tough game. It'll be good to see all the Albion guys because they're real good guys there at Albion, so that should be good for us. And let's hope Goole get a point or 2 or 3 against Tadcaster.
Well, just before we wrap up, we brought Jamie Smith in this a couple of days ago from Maltby. Used to be Maltby to Jamie, so he's got a lot of experience. And we signed 3 players this week. Some with step 3, step 4, Curtis for us, and so keep our fingers crossed that we can get a result at Tadcaster on Saturday.
Yeah, well, let's hope you do, because we as a Barton Town man, I love coming to Goole. It's a good atmosphere. It's a good atmosphere. The crowd is very partisan, but we love it.
No. Passionate.
Passionate. They're very. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a really good atmosphere there, and it does. We have very good games. Are very even.
It's a bit of a derby for us, Goole Barton, really, isn't it? To Goole and Barton, because we're one of your nearest neighbours, really, aren't we, in the league?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, we've got obviously Bottisford as well.
Bottisford,
yeah, and that's our 2 closest games now, because we used to have Winsetton, of course, but they've gone up. But Goole, yourself, Goole, and Bottisford are sort of local derbies, really. So, and we're hoping we get a good crowd against Goole. It's been rearranged, hasn't it, for a midweek game. So, yeah. So all in all, pardon?
Weather permitting.
Oh God, yeah, weather permitting, it'll be a frozen pitch next time. You watch. You can never win. You can never win. No, but all in all, well, so good luck to you guys, Bob at Goole, and let's hope Wakey have a little bit of a renaissance against Yorkshire Amateurs.
We've got it in us. We'll give it a good go.
It's a good level of their pitch at Yorkshire Amateurs, so I think you should maybe overcome them. So all in all, I think that's it, gentlemen. So wishing everybody out there, enjoy your football. Hope your team wins. Hope you have a good weekend, and we'll reconvene back next week.
That's it for this edition. If you've got any news for the podcast or you'd like to appear on the podcast, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.